just to wake up in the morning to the quiet of the cove and hear Aunt Bessie talking to herself, and to hear poor Uncle John mumbling wishes to O'Nell. It made me feel like everything was fine. I was born down by the water, it's here I'm gonna stay. I've searched for all the reasons why I should go away, but I haven't got the thirst for all those modern day toys, so I'll just take my chances with those saltwater joys. Following a little brook as it trickles to the shore in the autumn when the trees are flaming red, kicking leaves that fall around me, watching sunset paint the hills. It's all I'll ever need to feel at home. This island that we cling to has been handed down with pride by folks who fought to live here, taking hardships all in stride. So I'll compliment her beauty, hold on to my goodbyes, and I'll stay and take my chances with those saltwater joys. How can I leave those mornings with the sunrise on the cove and the gulls like flies surrounding Clayton's Wharf? Platter's Island wrapped in rainbow in the evening after fog. The ocean smells are perfume to my soul. Some go to where the buildings reach to meet the clouds, where warm and gentle people turn to swarming faceless crowds. So I'll do without their riches, glamour and the noise, and I'll stay and take my chances with those saltwater joys. Some go to where the buildings reach to meet the clouds, where warm and gentle people turn to swarming faceless crowds. So I'll do without their riches, glamour and the noise, and I'll stay and take my chances with those saltwater joys.
Good evening and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight our stories are Family Literacy Day, Batten's disease, Cadet Corps in need of officers, Town Council report. Please stay tuned for these stories after this. Try your luck and play TV bingo on Wednesday, sponsored by the LOL. Cards are 6 for $5 and can be bought from any member of the LOL or in most stores around town. Family Literacy Day took place at the school on Friday, January 26th from 2:30 to 4 p.m. The Family Resource Center, in conjunction with the library, CIS, and CYN, organized activities for the young children to celebrate reading. Michelle Mercer from the Family Resource Center welcomed everyone and got them started by reading to their child. There was a coloring contest, and names were drawn from a bag. A puppet show was then put off, with a story read by Kayla Krant and Melissa Spencer behind the curtain.
While walking in a toy store the day before today, I overheard a crayon box with many things to say. I don't like the red, said Yellow. And Green said, nor do I. And no one here likes orange, but no one knows just why. We are a box of crayons that doesn't get along, said Blue to all the others. Something here is wrong. Well, I bought that box of crayons and took it home with me. And I laid it all the colors so the crayons could all see. They watched me as I colored with red and blue and green, and black and white and orange, and every color in between. They watched as green became the grass, and blue became the sky. The yellow sun was shining bright on white clouds drifting by. Colors changing as they touched, becoming something new. They watched me as I colored. They watched till I was through. And when I finally finished, I began to walk away. And as I did, the crayon box had something more to say. I do like red, said Yellow. And Green said, so do I. And Blue, you were terrific, so high up in the sky. We are a box of crayons, each one of us unique. But when we get together, the picture is complete.
Victoria Piercy and Gabrielle Pink also read stories.
Birds, said the crocodile, you can't snap your jaws like me, but we know someone who can, tweeted the little birds, opening their tiny little beaks. Look out for me, anteater, said to the crocodile. You can't snap your jaws like me, but I know someone who can, slurped the anteater, sticking out his long tongue. Watch out, elephant, said the crocodile. You can't snap your jaws like me, but I know someone who can, comforted the elephant, curling her long, hairy trunk. Go away, lion, said the crocodile. You can't snap your jaws like me, but we know someone who can, roared the lions, flashing their huge white teeth. Step aside, snakes, said the crocodile. You can't snap your jaws like me, but here comes someone who can, hissed the snakes, twitching their long forked tongues. I can, crowed the dinosaur. No one can snap their jaws like me. You're right, Mr. Dinosaur, the crocodile replied, and he never snapped his jaws again.
Tiger jaws.
A tiger and an antelope met one day. Snap went the tiger's jaws. The antelope ran away. A monkey and a tiger met one day. Snap went the tiger's jaws. The monkey swung away. A hippo and a tiger met one day. Snap went the tiger's jaws. Hippo swam away. A giraffe and a tiger met one day. Snap went the tiger's jaws, and the giraffe loped away. A snake and a tiger met one day. Snap went the tiger's jaws, and the snake slid away. An elephant and a tiger met one day. Oops, said the tiger, and then it ran away.
The children got to make themselves a special hat and got tattooed. The leaders had fun with that as well.
Yeah, we got shorts.
Yeah, push it out there for 6 different 30 seconds.
I have 6 minutes.
You'll probably just fresh.
With water?
Yeah. What's that? Is that
It
bad?
says, do not hurry. My cheeks, my eyes,
Somebody came.
You want to go home?
Yeah.
Well, now we're going home.
After all activities were done, a small lunch of fruit and vegetables were served and prizes handed out. Everyone received a book and pencil.
Listen for your name, because you might win a book. Brittany. That one, okay. All right, next.
It's not one of my bones here. It's okay, Rebecca.
Courtney.
Yeah, what book would you like?
Done. You just have some.
That one, okay. Dina. Dina.
Mary. Nicholas here.
Nick, who's on with Nick, right?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you can look at.
Sarah.
Oh my goodness. She had a big one.
Okay.
See. Clippers.
Colby.
Small red puppy.
Can't bone now.
The Sea Cadets need your help. They are in need of at least 2 training officers. Past cadets or past officers who would like to help out are greatly appreciated. It is a paid position, and there will be a possibility of working at summer camps for 8 to 10 weeks. Even though it can be demanding, you would be helping to keep the Sea Cadet Corps alive. If you are interested or would like more information, contact Albert Ingram, Jeanette Ann, or Jim Marsden. Tickets are being sold on a photo coat to raise money to go towards the medical expenses of Jamie and Carson Yulin, which suffers from Batten's disease, and his only known cure is in China. Batten disease is a fatal inherited disorder of the nervous system that begins in childhood. Early symptoms of this disorder usually appears between the ages of 5 and 10, when parents or physicians may notice a previously normal child has begun to develop vision problems or seizures. In some cases, the early signs are subtle, taking on forms of personality and behavior changes, slow learning, clumsiness, or stumbling. Over a time, affected children suffer mental impairment, worsening seizures, and progressive loss of sight and motor skills. Eventually, children with Batten disease become blind, bedridden, and demented. Batten disease is often fatal by the time of late teens or 20s. Batten disease is not contagious or at this time preventable. Mayor George Reed stopped by the studio with his town council report.
Good evening. We had a council meeting this past week, and I'm going to give you a report on basically what went on at council. The council approved $10,000 to the arena project over a 2-year period. And the arena project, of course, is that they're going to try to get money, raise money to get the ice system in there. And that ice system is going to cost about $250,000. They applied to government for the bulk of that money, and they're trying to raise money on their own. I think they're having a telethon sometime throughout the year. Council feels that this is a worthwhile project because a lot of people were participating in the activities at the arena, and of course with a good ice system there, we're sure that the people will participate more as throughout the year, rather than being depending on the coldness outside. Then the ice will be there with this system. So we feel that it will be a great activity, of course, for the people to participate in. The water treatment plant, well, that's been an ongoing thing, of course, as you know, for the past 5 years, I guess it is, the water treatment plant. The 2 reports have been submitted. The final report has been submitted. And on January the 23rd, Blaine Marks and your MHA, Kelvin Parsons, and the engineer of the projects, the reports, Wayne Manuel, and the lawyer that we have working on our problem, of course, with the fire and that, was Ron Noseworthy and myself. We met with the Minister, the Honorable Jack Burns, in Confederation Building on January 23rd. We had about an hour's meeting, and at this time, I've basically, probably about the only thing I can say, that it was a positive meeting from my point of view. Nothing was committed, of course, because Mr. Burns had to go back to cabinet with the amount of money that we're looking for, and he has to fit that in his budget. But we weren't turned down or anything like that. It seemed positive, but it's going to be probably a month or more before we hear from that department whether or not the funding is going to be there this year. And of course, we'll keep you informed on it. National Marine Conservation Area, well, you've heard me talk about that now that's been going on for the last, I guess, 4 years or more. And we got it to the stage now. I think I reported one time to you that the federal minister had approved of it and sent it to the provincial government. And now we have a letter from the Honorable Clyde Jackman, Minister of the Department of Environmental and Conservation. His department supports it, and they're trying to now set up correspondence between Parks Canada and the province so that they can get this project moving ahead. So it looks like that this probably is going to work out in our favor as the months go ahead. The community enhancement that's been ongoing, that you've seen in town here, basically cleaning up the altars around the sides of the road and going in as far as Long Pond. That's just about completed now, although I think we still have 2 people on until the first week of March. These 2 people are still employed to finish the work. Now, if there's any work out there that you think that could be done to enhance the beauty of the town, something that that we could get done within a few weeks. Why don't you give the town office a call and explain to town manager there what you see that could be done, and he certainly would appreciate that. On January the 29th this month, we were having a meeting concerning Burgeo disaster plan. Of course, we hope we'll never have to use such a plan, but we have to be on top of it, and we're having a meeting of all parties concerned on January the 29th. Leaks, of course, you've known that we've had a few leaks in town. With the main water system, we have got these repaired. But there's from time to time that, of course, you're going to end up with leaks. And what I would like to ask the public is that if you see any water that's running, and you think that it hasn't been running there before, and you think that it could be coming from a leak in town, well, we would appreciate if you phone the town manager immediately and let him know, and of course he'll investigate it right away, because we do not want to have any water just running away and wasting it on our part if we can correct it. But there's a lot of times that the council doesn't know anything about it, and so help from the public. I mean, there's 1,700 eyes out there, pairs of eyes out there looking around. So if anybody see if any water is running that they think shouldn't be running, let the town office know, and they'll investigate it. Of course, the time of the year again for getting your taxes paid, and I've been informed by the town clerk that payment is being paid very well. I mean, people are paying their bills pretty much on time and before time in a lot of cases. But there are a few people who have some back taxes now that should be paid now, and if you don't have it paid now, I would advise you to try to get it paid pretty much immediately, or go to the office and set up a payment schedule to get it paid, in the very near future. But you got to do that. You make sure you go to the office to set up a schedule to get your back taxes paid. Councillor Cyril Warren resigned this month. I would like to thank Cyril for all of his time that he gave to the work on council, helping to run the affairs of council. I think Mr. Warren was there for, I think it's 2.5 terms. He felt that he had given a fair amount of his volunteer time, so we thank him for that. There's going to be nominations on May the 22nd. There's going to be nominations for a new councillor to replace Mr. Warren, and the election will take place on June the 12th, if of course more than one person runs. It's an opportunity for anyone out there who feel that they have some time to spare, some time on their hands that they would like to give to help to run the affairs of council, or of course, which is the affairs of this town. If you have nothing else to do and you would like to get involved, this is a golden opportunity for you. And I hope that we'll have a number of people come forward on May the 22nd to be nominated. And that concludes the council news. I think I'm going to have to shift positions here now, because I want to talk about the internet of BBS. You people who have the internet have been very, very patient with this company. with its problems. Of course, the internet is not for the lack of trying that we haven't solved this problem or problems that we have with the internet. The system was designed for 180 people. Of course, it was designed by not by engineers that was fully versed in this technology, because the wireless technology is relatively new in relationship to the internet. I think probably our success with it has been one of our problems, because I think we have almost 400 customers now on it. Now, we had a technician in from Alliant, came in a couple of days ago. He spent, I think it was 3 days going over the system. And he found that the system has a lot of problems. Basically, it's a design problem. So what we have to do, or what he's going to do, is that he's going to redesign the system, submit, of course, to us, to the board of directors, the design with a list of material that we have to buy, of course. And then your board of directors is going to have to approve it. And of course, then order the equipment and then get the technician back in order to install it. All of this is going to take some time. The best figure that he could give us is probably anywhere between 2 to 4 months before the new system get completed. Now, I think there was a number of things that was done when he was here a couple of days ago. He found out a number of problems immediately that he could correct. I hope it has made some difference to your internet. But I think the overall improvement won't be there until the new design is done and all equipment is put into place. So I appeal to your patience again for probably another 2 to 4 months, and hopefully at the end of the day that your system will work like it should work. And thank you for your patience. Good night, everyone.
This concludes our program for tonight. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Talking Trash is rescheduled for next Sunday. Thank you for watching. Good night.